Well, hi, everybody. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Tim Foley. I am your host here for a very brief uh, Facebook Live coming from national headquarters in snowy Alexandria, Virginia, on this beautiful Groundhog's Day. We hope you're having a good time. I'm still trying to figure technology out. So you'll have to give me a pass as I was jumping around. But with me is my wonderful producer, Elizabeth. So she is on my iPad. And say hi, Elizabeth.
Hello!
There she is. We hope you're having a great day today. Thanks for taking a few moments of your time to tune in and give us a listen here um, for just a few moments. We're going to talk about our exciting and wonderful edition of the War Cry for February. So I want to draw your attention. This is what it is, and of course, this is a this great uh, issue. We celebrate Black History Month. We celebrate love and marriage, and we're celebrating all kinds of different wonderful things in this particular issue. Um, we're very excited. We're undergoing a little bit of growing pains here, obviously during the pandemic. We're in month 10, as all of you are keeping count as well, uh, of the different challenges that we all face. And we've talked about it on our podcast, we've talked about it on previous issues of the War Cry, but we've got a great staff that's working really hard on these magazines. As you can imagine, where a team was all together on one floor of a building where there was a lot of synergy and discussion and all that kind of stuff that was happening. That's all been moved to a digital platform, which we've all had to, change and address lots and lots of different things. But I'm so proud of our team. I keep saying it over and over, so you probably get sick of me saying it. But we've got a lot of great people working behind the scenes to bring this issue to you. I just want to point out a few things in this magazine that you might uh, find interesting. We have one of our favorite authors, Bob Hostetler, who has contributed to the War Cry over the years in so many different significant ways. In this issue, he's got this great read on how to find the love of your life. And you can see it. It's kind of our centerfold here. I hope you can kind of pay attention to that because, of course, February is the month of love with Valentine's Day and all kinds of things happening. But he talks about, making that relationship last, the relationship of love in your life, and of course using biblical texts to make it come alive. It's a great read. It's a great I think it's a great little Bible study. We don't classify it as a Bible study, but it's certainly, if you're looking for something for an online Zoom meeting or a conversation, you can easily turn to this page by this author who wrote this great book called "Don't Check Your Brains at the Door." Bob Hostetler again is somebody that we would encourage you to look at. One of the things that we do here in national publications, we're a little different than the territorial publications, where they're geographically focused on their territories of the central and the east and the south and the west. We kind of do an overall view of the Salvation Army. We're the national magazine of the Salvation Army. So we deal with public relation issues, we deal with telling the Army story, we also deal with the theology and whatnot of the Salvation Army, the history of the Salvation Army, which many of you, if you're faithful on our Facebook, you love our history articles, and we're grateful for Susan Mitchum in our archives department here at National Headquarters, and also Major Jason Swain, who's kind of our resident historian. He loves history and just making all that stuff come to life. But one of the things that I've wanted to do as an editor is make sure that we're telling this story in the small places and things that are happening right now that may be well out of the attention of so many people. And often in the Salvation Army, we always kind of think, well, the big always gets all the attention. Well, not necessarily. And we have this great article in the section of what we call Frontlines, and we highlight this little tiny remote village in Alaska, the great state of Alaska. If you've never been to Alaska, I can tell you it is gorgeous any time of year. I've had the privilege of to be there during the different seasons, but I've never had the privilege to go to this little remote place called Kake, Alaska. And we have this story about a village with a big heart. And we're so grateful for Lieutenant Arlene Dooley, just a kind of a new officer. She's been out for just a little bit, but how she's embraced this community and how the community has embraced her, and the Kake community has been been a generous community overall. So we encourage you to read a little bit of this story. We thank the lieutenant for her story. And I would encourage, if there's any Salvation Army officers or soldiers out there that you think, well, we never get recognition, or, I really don't want to take the time. You never know where these stories go. And I think it's important for us, for the glory of God, to stand up once in a while and say, you know what, we're doing the most good in this community, and this is how we're going about it. And don't assume that we at National Publications know your story. So we encourage you to send us things. You can contribute at workri.org, or you can write me, Tim Foley, at National Headquarters, and I'll pass that information on. But thank you, Lieutenant Dooley, and we hope that we've done the little remote village of Kake, Alaska proud. So we encourage you to look at that. Another feature that we've started, I started this when I took the helm in July of 2019. We have a section called, we're now calling it Profiles. We called it Influencers, and then we had some internal discussion about the title. But we're focused on featuring either officers or employees or soldiers or advisory board members or volunteers that are doing some great things in their communities and partnering with the Salvation Army. So we've pulled some of those people to the forefront, and we want to continue to show this great diversity of our Army in the Salvation Army front lines work in the United States of America. And this month we feature our new National Advisory Board Chairman, Mike Castling, who is the CEO of Sequence Health Group, and he's been active with the Salvation Army in Omaha, Nebraska for many years. We're very grateful to Mike, and we have a little section here on his leadership and his interest in the Salvation Army and his faith. So if you know somebody that you think, man, this person should be featured, there's so many different Salvationists that are in all kinds of walks of life in the marketplace out there, and we're always interested in those stories and telling those stories in our finding section. So we encourage you. 10 questions with Mike Castling, and again, Major Jason Swain does a good job with this particular feature. We're very grateful for the divisional commander in the Northern Division, and he is a student and an academic and well-versed, and Lieutenant Colonel Dan Jennings has been leading us the past several months in the book, Psalm 23, and has done these Bible studies, really in-depth work, and we're grateful for the good major. Again, this stuff just shouldn't just sit in this magazine. This magazine is designed ever since George Scott Relton put this together 140 years ago. This magazine was designed to be a tool of evangelism and a tool to help the spiritual journey of people. And we continue that mission today. And we would encourage you to pick up or look online and take some moments to read through some of these articles, and especially our Bible study. We're grateful to Colonel Jennings for his good work, and that will continue on for a few more months, and then we'll be announcing a new author of this series as we go forward. Something that we're committed to, both on our Peer Magazine staff and the War Cry staff, is finding ways to help us all cope during these troubling times, dealing with all the different mental health issues that we're facing individually, or you may be facing collectively in your families or people that you know. So we have started in January, and we're going to carry this all the way through this year, a section called Healthy Habits. And so we're focused on this issue. We have this great connection with Dr. Gary Chapman, who is Elizabeth's hero, I think, and the love languages. And Gary and his group has turned us on to a wonderful author named Arlene Pellicane, who talks about how to handle your children's use of digital technology in this day and age, and kind of comes at it from a spiritual discipline point, but also kind of comes to it from a kind of a mental health take on that. But in succeeding months, we're going to be dealing with these issues of anxiety and depression and loneliness and lack of connectedness that's happening, or disillusionment. I know for myself, and I don't mind being candid about it, I'm struggling in a season of sadness, just with all the turmoil in the world and people that I know that have been struck by COVID and have passed away, and all of the newness, and it's just like there's just like this period of mourning in my life, and I'm grateful for authors and writers who are able to take the scriptures and bring them alive and help get me calibrated, I guess, and focused. So we hope that you'll look to that section, and there'll be more information on the warcry.org and more stuff that we can put there excuse me, that can help you. Well, we're very excited to introduce to you, we talked about it last month, but if you pay attention to the Fight for Good podcast, by the way, we're up in our 70s now of episodes of it, and we thank those of you that take a few moments to download and listen to our podcast. We're putting out one a week, and I'm grateful for Elizabeth because of all the work that she does. She also does our sister podcast, The Battle Lines, which highlights our youth ministry and Peer Magazine here at National Headquarters. Great, this major, Captain Saturday, they're going to be majors in July. They'll be old people finally. But that podcast, and along with the Fight for Good podcast, we're introducing this month our two new authors. We just did a podcast with Major Ruth New. Her and her husband are the administrators of the AirC in Charlotte, North Carolina. Major New has she just has a rich presence about her. She's got a story of transformation in her own life, and she's a good writer. So what we've done is we have basically let her loose and she's taken off with our section called Como Te Yo, which is this 2-page section for our Spanish language reading folks. And we've got all kinds of great features. She's featuring every month different countries in Latin America. The February issue, she's focused on Argentina. what happens with the Salvation Army in Argentina, some of the cultural things, some of the dishes, some of the recipes that we have here, and then she has this devotion on this month from the book of Exodus. And also, I think this is probably the one thing that I'm most proud of our magazine in my short tenure here as editor is the prayer of salvation for in the Spanish language. This magazine gets distributed, and there's been a lot of talk about, well, why can't you just do just do a whole magazine for, just complete Spanish language? And again, it always comes back to the dollars and cents. So what we decided was to make more of this, and I'm very fortunate that Major knew in light of all the huge responsibilities that her and Major Richard have. She's taken this on, and she just loves doing this, and so we're so excited. We hope that you'll pay attention watch this page and other pages when her podcast comes out. She's a great interview and just a wonderful, wonderful woman of God. So we hope you enjoy that. Pass it on to people that you may not read this, but I was a divisional commander in Central California. I had many corps there that I know that could have benefited from something like this. So we want to encourage you to do that. And then the last is our new writer. So excited! One of my favorite people on the planet, Captain Emmanuel Masengo, a real positive, just a man of God, and pastor. Him and his wife Jennifer, the corps officers of the Sacramento Citadel Corps. And we've given him the spiritual formation page, which is something that we introduced about a year and a half or so ago, and he is just taken off with that as well. We'll be featuring him coming up, so there'll be more about that. So we're really grateful for the opportunities that God gives to us. There sometimes the relevancy of this magazine may not seem to matter to a lot of people. I know there's a lot of hard work and saturated with prayer and really leaning in to what is it that we really need to say to this generation. I forgot to pull off the desk of my secretary Kenya's desk next door, but one of the joys that I get is the letters to the editor. Now sometimes the letters to the editor are not that joyous, and sometimes the letters are sad. But a lot of times the letters are these incredible testimonies of people who ran across our magazine and how God used it to transform and change their life. Again, the War Cry is a tool. We're just being messengers of God the best that we can, and we thank you for being a faithful reader. Some of you out there are faithful soldiers that distribute the War Cry. It's even more challenging in these COVID times. We have both the digital and the hard copy, and statistics are showing in COVID times, people want tangible things. They want to hold on to something. And there's a rise, an uptick in the publication of books and magazines, not just ebooks, but we have also all of those things available for you as well. I will highlight before I close, because we have, I do not just editing, but I'm also the program secretary and national program secretary. So we have a lot of different features and different things that we're doing. For those of you that are into youth ministry, in particular, our Corps Cadet material has been all revitalized, and it's new. It's online, corpscadets.com. You can go and see our information there. We have crestbooks.com. We have all kinds of wonderful material that's available. It's very cheap. We're starting to produce, and we're producing our books online, but we're also making them ebooks so that they're on Kindle, and we make them available under the Kindle Unlimited plan, so you can actually read the book for free if you're familiar with how that works. But we're very pleased to announce, and there'll be more about this probably next month, but Lenten Awakening by one of our favorite authors here, Commissioner Phil Needham, is now available, and there's more information about that book. But it'll be a great devotional guide as you go through the Lenten season, which is, gosh, it's just right around the corner. As well as we have the former editor-in-chief, Lieutenant Colonel Alan Satterley, my mentor and the person I was very grateful to ghost and shadow for several months. Well, we've produced a new book by him called Pilgrimage Revealed, and it's a great Bible study on the book of 1 Peter. So those are available to you, and of course I want to encourage you to read my simple book on rest. It's a very, very simple premise. Stop once in a while. And it's a hard thing for devoted Salvationists who are out to save the world and change the world, but God tells us we got to stop. We have a whole plethora of titles under Crest Books, and so we encourage you to do that. To read that and take advantage of it. So we're available now. The magazine's available at thewarcry.org. You can get the February issue. We try to have it dropped at the beginning of the month. You can go to your local Salvation Army unit and pick up the copy of the magazine. If it's not there, ask the officer, where is it? Don't throw them away. Pass them on to other people, and send us your stories on that. We thank you for taking a few moments. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them. Both Elizabeth and I kind of administer this WarCry page, and we'll look through it. You can always contact me directly, or you can check me out on my own personal Facebook, Tim Foley at Facebook, or on also timfoleyonline.com. There I have a whole bunch on the Rest Book. We'll be going to do a live feed about the Rest Book in another week or two, just kind of bring up some of that material again. I think it's time to kind of stir up the pot, so to speak, with that. But I thank you for being a faithful reader of the WarCry, and thanks for taking a few moments of your time. I hope you're staying well. I hope that each day that you're leaning more into the Lord. Try to be kind. The world is sometimes a wholly different animal for us, and as we bring the light into the darkness, may people see the love of Jesus in all that you do, and of course in what you say, and hopefully your actions will match up with what you do. I know that's the daily challenge for me. So with all of that being said, thanks for taking a few moments, and take care of yourself. And I'm going to sign off somewhere on here. I'm going to sign off for now. And I'm not quite sure if I've done it.